Hello and welcome to another dimension of law and mediation. I'm Dr. Anita. Today, parenting in a time of COVID-19. Parental conflict, courts closed, what do I do? In this video, I'm going to present a real case in which a judge had to make a decision about whether or not the application brought by the mother to suspend the time that the father had with the child was to proceed or not. This is a real case, and this is about Ms. Rivera and Mr. Wright. So Ms. Rivera and Mr. Wright fell in love, and they were right for each other some time ago. They had a child. And then, unfortunately, they separated, and the final order was granted in 2012. In September of 2019, they came to an agreement when it comes to the parenting time. So the child, at the time 9 years old, was to live primarily with mom, and then dad had access or time with the child every second weekend from Friday evening to Sunday evening. And then what happened was the father brought an application in late 2019 to increase his time with the child. Then what happened is the virus arrived. And with the concerns over social distancing, the mother brought an application before the judge to have a decision made whether or not the father should continue to see the child. Her concern was that the father is not going to maintain the social distancing for the child when he had the child with him. So what did the judge do? What do you think the judge did? Well, let me read one sentence from his judgment. And that is, the judge states, right now, families need more cooperation and less litigation. I repeat, right now, families need more cooperation and less litigation. This is coming from a judge. Now think about this. Litigation is what happens when we go to court, when we argue cases. That's all litigation. And this is the judge who tells us that because of these unprecedented, very unusual times, the families should take some other steps. The families should care about the children. In fact, what he says is that right now the children need the love, guidance, and emotional support of both parents more than ever. And I again emphasize, this is coming from both parents. He also says that no matter how difficult the challenge, for the sake of the children, we should all find the ways to maintain important parental relationship. And above all, we have to find ways to do it safely. So it's important for the parents to be flexible. It's important for the parents to be creative. It's important for the parents to communicate, to find the solution, to find the way to parent despite all of these terrible circumstances that surround us, so the children could be safe and the children could feel loved. Ms. Rivera and Mr. Wright had an existing court order. There's a presumption that court orders should be followed because they were made with the best interest of the child at heart in the first place. On the other hand, there are these directives now coming from the public health officials and the government, instructing all of us what to do and what not to do. So considering the case and what the judge said, what else are the courts going to look for? Well, he said the court is going to look for some common sense from the parents, some efforts to communicate and resolve this issue, some simple problem solving before they go before the judge. And also, they will be looking for the show of respect between the parents. So now, what kind of evidence is the court going to look for? What kind of evidence? Let me just quote from his judgment. He says, We will deal with COVID-19 parenting issues on a case-by-case basis. Of course, each family is different and the facts are always a little bit different. So number one, the parent who is initiating an urgent motion will be required to provide specific evidence of examples of behavior of the other parent which are inconsistent with the COVID-19 protocols. Then the parent who is responding to such an urgent motion will be required to provide assurance that the measures consistent with the COVID-19 protocols will be adhered to. So, for example, social distancing, use of disinfectants, etc. And then finally, both parents will be required to provide very realistic and very well thought through proposals how to share the time with the child. And they have to be focusing not on what's best for the parents, but what is best for the child. So, parents, all of you who may be listening to this and viewing this, some simple problem solving. Please attempt it first. Show mutual respect to each other. Follow the court order. And show as much love as you now can, more than ever, to your child or to your children. And remember, right now, families need more cooperation and less litigation. I'm Dr. Anita, from my heart to yours.